so you made it to part two. So how are these keys related? We learned about the keys. We learned what they are and how a key is determined. But how are they related? All right, so just a little review. Here's our little piece of music. Here's our key signature with one sharp. And we think, oh, well, okay, what scale has also one sharp? Oh, it's the G major scale with its one sharp. That's how we get the key of G major. Okay, but how are these keys related? Like we know that if we have one sharp, it's G major. But then how do we get the other ones and how are they related to each other and why are they in this order? So many questions. Okay, so it has to go back to Pythagoras. All right, so remember Pythagoras where he did that experiment where he stopped the string and he sort of came up with this really awesome ratio. So he was thinking mathematically, since Pythagoras is also a mathematician. He was thinking about the mathematical significance of this ratio, which gives us the sound of the octave, this pure sound when we double the frequency. All right, so, but he was playing around a little bit. He didn't just stop there, since he is a mathematical genius. He decided to stop the string a third of the way, and he says, you know what, this is also a very mathematically significant ratio that we've come up with, for this 3 to 2. And so therefore this sound is also mathematically significant. This is a very important sound, all right? And this didn't just stop there. This sort of continued into history where we always thought that this was a very pure sound, which was the fifth, or this relationship in music of the fifth. So, way to go, Pythagoras. Yeah, thank you for coming up with those significant things for us. Anyway, so here's our scale. So when we talk about the fifth, what does that mean? So what I did is I put numbers next to all the notes of the scale. Okay, so these are known as scale degrees. Okay, so for instance, in the C scale, C is the first scale degree, D is the second scale degree, E is the third, F is the fourth, and so forth and so on. All right, so we go all the way get to the octave. So here's our octave, by the way, from C all the way to C. Then here is our fifth. So that's from C, D, E, F, G. G is the fifth scale degree. So we're going to take that G and we are going to create our next scale based on that note. There you go. So we went from 0 sharps to 1 sharp, and now the new scale is G major, all right, or the new key. So the new scale is G major with our F sharp here, our 1 sharp, and we're going to do the same exact thing. Here's our scale degrees. We're going to determine what the fifth scale degree is, our fifth note, and that is over here, which is G, A, B, C, D is our fifth scale degree. And we're going to make a new scale based on that. And there it is, the D major scale. Now, in the D major scale, you're going to notice that, hey, we have more than 1 sharp. Okay, we have 2 now. Okay, so when we take a look at this chart that we were coming up with, we are right over here. So we did C major, we did G major, now we're up to D major. So we made it this far, and if we keep going, 3 sharps will get us A major, 4 sharps will get us E major. So we also determined that these scales are a fifth apart. They're based on the fifth scale degree of the next scale, or I should say of the previous scale. So here we go. Now there must be a chart or a way to sort of see this much clearly, and there is. The circle of fifths. So this is a very, very important chart. Okay, this is a very, very great way to sort of figure out key signatures, how they're related, or to figure out what key you're in based on the sharps and the flats that you see in the score. So we started so if we move counterclockwise, that's the circle of fifths. So we move this way, we get the fifth scale degrees, we get this relationship. However, if we move the other way, in the counterclockwise, it actually becomes the circle of fourths. All right, C to F to B flat to E flat, that's circle of fourths. And you can see, moving clockwise, we're actually not starting with sharps, we're actually starting with flats. Okay, so I hope that doesn't confuse you, but most of the time we just think of the fifths, we move sort of clockwise I would say 90% of the time, unless you really sort of have to start thinking about flats, well then it's good to think of the circle of fourths. So let's start with C. So we got C at the top, which has no sharps or flats. Then we have G, as we said before, has one sharp. D has two sharps, A has three, E has four, B has five, F sharp has six, C sharp has seven, or you could just think of that it's the C major scale with every single note sharped. A flat, now we switch to flats. A flat has four flats, E flat has three, so we're actually, by adding sharps, we're subtracting flats. B flat has two flats, F one flat, and we're all the way back to C major. So we take away the one flat and we're back to zero sharps or flats. More to come. Okay, so here is our helpful hint. Now, we know that the circle of fifths is extremely valuable. So I recommend that you just memorize the circle of fifths as much as possible. So even if you have to just remember C, D, E, F, G, G, A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, A, that's one way to do it. So here's our circle of fifths. Of course, another good trick would be to just try to recreate your own circle of fifths. So all you need to do is literally make a circle, and we start with C at the top. C, D, E, F, G. There we go. G, A, B, C, D, and so forth. And even if you don't even make the entire circle, at least just making the top half is a really good idea. And don't, of course, forget about the circle of fourths. C, D, E, F, F, G, A, B flat. All right. So this way you can start to think how this is zero sharps, this is one sharp, this is two sharps, zero flats, this is one flat, this is two flats. So even just memorizing this will put you ahead of the game. Okay, so sit there, write out your own circle of fifths, get really familiar with it. Go for it. Okay, now it's time for a quick check. Okay, so this is a two-parter. All right, so I'm going to ask two questions for you, and for this you're going to need your circle of fifths handy. As a matter of fact, you should keep it handy for a lot of your homeworks. This will help you memorize it or get more familiar with it. Okay, so question number one, how many sharps in the key of D? How many sharps in the key of D major? Did you get it? You can pause the video, look it up. All right, that's the first question. Here comes the second question. Now, I said how many sharps are in the key of D. Now, what are the sharps? What notes are sharped in the key of D? So you got to look at your order of sharps. You got to figure out how many first, but then you have to figure out what they are. Did you get it? Pause the video. All right, so if you got it, great. All right, so there are two sharps in the key of D, and the sharps are in the order, starts with F sharp, and then it goes to C sharp. And if you got it, then you passed the quick check, all right? So good job. If not, keep studying that circle of fifths.